All systems go. Cleared for takeoff.
What's up, everyone? Tyler Tamboline here, aka ToeTagginTambo. We're back a little early this week. Some have liked us doing the show this style, so we're going to talk some round three. We're going to watch this cut line. We already have God, I Hate Brandon Wu in the chats. Shout out to our guy Brian, but we will be all over this. We're going to watch it here for a little bit. Hoop has a special event tonight, so he's at the, on courtesy of some Rocket Mortgage Classic stuff, getting some concert action now, getting that in. So live from the hotel, Hoopster. Round three talk, we'll get to it and everything else to go with it. But how's it going on this fine Friday afternoon, my friend? A day before Canada Day and your birthday, which you probably want nobody to know about.
Yeah, it's a big weekend here for Hoopster. Had the Rocket Mortgage yesterday, hitting the concert tonight, Morgan Wallen, and then tomorrow's birthday. And you can see in the background, I mean, your smoke is still making its way over our city. You can see it perfect. Yeah, your smoke coming down. I mean, you can see it perfectly here. We're kind of switching this format around a little bit, kind of flexible with this. We'll, see what people like, see what we can take away from it, see how we can improve it. But this is going to be a hybrid type show where we're talking some plays for round three and kind of, looking at what's going on right here in round two. And obviously, a lot of birdies, yesterday, big scores. Today's the same thing. And for Showdown, we talked about it yesterday. You probably needed everyone to be 5-6 under, and that's going to end up being the case. A couple early guys that obviously fell short. JT and Hideki just awful. They're decent today, but yesterday crushed them. Guys like Mark Hubbard that we're talking about kind of fizzled down the stretch. He missed the cut. He was relatively popular. Kevin Roy was a guy I ended up playing a little bit of, and he was looking solid today. I think he missed like 3-4 footers, I want to say, on his round. He would have made the cut. I had a decent team with him, so that one hurt me a little bit. But we'll see what we can find here for round three and have some fun with these round two guys down the stretch.
Yeah, and again, like Hoop said, obviously we know certain guys have made it. Like if you go up to the top right now, there's a bunch of guys that are already through. Hadwin up to Taylor Moore. So we'll talk through it leaderboard style. We'll be monitoring the cut line for all those guys. Benny Ann, Tony Finau, Tom Kim, Spawn. There's just a bunch of guys that were owned and popular for the main slate. I know a lot of friends and people we know from around the industry are in the Fantasy Golf World Championship, so I'm going to check that out in a little bit, have some fun with that. And then just going back through it and talking, Hoop, looking at the contests for tomorrow. There was supposed to be some weather. I know at the start of the week we were kind of worried. It looks like tomorrow there could be. You were there. You're checking the local forecast better than anything we're going to find on Windfinder or these other sites. But in general, just saying that there could be some scattered showers, thunderstorms later in the day tomorrow. That would be the leaders that get delayed, but they're already through at the cut at that point. They're playing good golf to be where they are. We'll see how that all shakes out. I can't really judge too much on that. But just looking at the contests for tomorrow, we got the $20 goes from 8,800 up to 11,000 entries. So you just get a little bit better structure with that 50K up top. It's not incredible still. Don't get excited. But today I think it was 50K with $500 for 10th, and tomorrow it's like 1,000 for 8th, 9th, and you get a 20K second place. There's a few other prizes in between. There's a $250 four max tomorrow that looks really nice. 45 get paid out of 222, $500 min cash, 10K up top, very balanced with $1,000 to 10th, 10K to first. So the structure we like to see there. $10 18 is really nice. Like there's just a lot of good contests for tomorrow. So you'll want to stick around for that and get in on some of those contests. And then if you guys want to watch another show tonight, I always give him a shout out. But my guy Degenerate 75, he'll be back, I believe 7 Eastern. He wants to talk Lord's time zone and go through all that, but you can check his show out tonight. He'll have a bunch of coverage there. Hoop, anything else you want to cover before we start looking through some of this stuff? There's a few interesting things that we can check out here.
Yeah, just one other thing that I wanted to mention over on the SHIPIT Nation YouTube channel. Our guys, Title and Big Marley, just wrapped up their MMA breakdown for tomorrow, for Saturday's MMA slate, and they did a phenomenal job. First time being paired together, and we were super excited, obviously, when we brought Title on a few weeks ago. But then Marley kind of started with us this week, and his content is available at shipitnation.com. But today was the first show those guys did together. We had a pretty good idea that it would be, very solid video, very solid audio from those guys. And man, it was a phenomenal breakdown for tomorrow. And you and I are talking. I've been playing MMA a little bit longer than you have. You're getting your feet wet into it a little bit here, but man, like, they make it easy to build teams. And you could watch that show and just kind of go along and start to build your teams, which I did today, and I know you did as well. So if you haven't watched it, make sure you get over there at the Ship It Nation YouTube channel and check it out. Phenomenal breakdown.
Yeah, I'll put a link in the chat for a second. Just to what you said, I got the cheat sheet because obviously I'm a member/owner at shipitnation.com, so I'm able to see the other side. But that was kind of the key for me. I was watching the show. Great combination. Those guys breaking things down. They are going to be bringing some best ball stuff to the site as well, which again will be just included with any membership at shipitnation.com. So really good when it comes to that. But I was able just to see with Marley's stuff, he's got the fight rankings. I don't have a lot of time getting ready to prep for this show, have stuff up, get all my screens ready, but just listening to him and then being able to go back and forth. I think I built the nuts. So we'll screen clip this back if that is the case and say, I told you so. If not, we'll never talk about it again. That's how we do these things. But getting back on here, we're going to talk some golf. One more shout out yesterday. Our guy, Sir John Daly in the Discord, Jay White 89 on DraftKings, shipped the late showdown slate, said couldn't post this yesterday, but I shipped the late showdown slate, $5,700 up top. I think it was a two-way chop. So shout out to Sir John Daly in our Discord over at Ship It Nation. Got the job done. These shows are free. He's obviously a member. We have our player pool up over there. Got all the core report, everything that goes with it. Shout out to my guy, Matt. Great dude. Says still money to be made, but rank the top 3 worst events of the year. This has to be the most boring. Can't say that with Hoopster on the show. It's the local event, but it is a birdie fest. We know that, and it makes it tough. And this is just a stretch as well now, too, right? You get the U.S. Open, which we're also pumped for, doing content on, yourself included, Matt, guys going through and doing this stuff. And then you get the Travelers, which is a designated/elevated event that you're going into. So even that was better this year. But now you got to run the Rocket Mortgage and the John Deere. You got to love the Birdie Fest. But, of course, the field's not as strong. And this was the best field we've had at the Rocket Mortgage. It's just tough. Yeah. And the leaderboard, which we're about to get to in a second, is a little bit tricky to find your way around because some of these guys that we were expecting to be up there are already. I sent Ekro, JT, and Hideki. It didn't even get on the plane. Put them right in the car ride. They're 3 best friends that ever been before. These guys had to travel down the street to get back out of there because they're gone home early, Hoop. Any other thoughts on that before we get into it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's not a major type event. It's not difficult conditions. And, it can be boring. But this field was actually better than it's been, I think, ever here. And you know what you're getting with it. It's not like it's a surprising event where you think it's going to play difficult and the guys come out and slay the course. Like, what it is coming into it. It's a birdie fest, very high variance. Random guys can make their way to the top of the leaderboard, which is the case this week. I mean, Taylor Moore's been playing like absolute shit. He's sitting at the top. You were on Adam Shank for sure. But he hadn't been playing well coming into this. He made his way up there. Justin Lower, Wu, went eagle, albatross, birdie on the par 5s yesterday. It's just a highly volatile event, and it is what it is, I guess, is my point when it comes to the Rocket Mortgage.
Yeah, he holed out again today. Speaking of Wu, but
yeah.
Trying to find my way to the top of this friggin' tournament, man. Every week it seems it's so close. I'm sitting right now. It's still early because a lot of guys that went out in the afternoon, but just looking at people with player holes remaining, there's not that many. Like, there's a couple guys behind. So it won't be another top 10 finish, it doesn't look like. But right up there, I've got some trailers. My core today was Homa, only 47, but I had Cam Davis put up 68. Shank as well. Smalley was another guy I was super high on. He put up 60. So I do have some chasers with our guy Ludwig Aberg. If he can find his way up the board, definitely think he's a guy to get after here, and we just continue to see it. Let's go here, though. Let's have a quick look, Hoop, while we are jumping into this leaderboard. So right now, just so you guys know, Data Golf has it 77.5% to be 5 under. Thought with the afternoon, again, some of the talent was out this morning. We talked about that being a little bit tricky in round 2, having to gauge who was actually going out in the morning with the guys that were, wanting to run that morning wave to get the softer conditions and all that stuff, the less bumpy greens, all of that. Well, thought that you could come back to 4 under. You still could. It's a 21% chance right now, but it does look still playing fairly easy that it looks like maybe 5 ends up holding. So we'll see how that goes. And then just jumping over to the leaderboard right now, Hoop, we've got, like I said, I think the guys we're watching at the bottom, if you can correct me if I'm wrong on some others that I might be missing, or the chat can throw them out there, but I know let's pull up the 4 I'm thinking of. It's easier just to do it this way. So Benny Ann is currently 1 under today, but only even on the tournament. He's got, it looks like 7 or 8 holes to go, because this could be a little bit behind. Spawn, 8 or 9 holes to go. He's sitting right at 4 under, so he's 2 under today, losing it with the putter a little bit. Finau is a guy to watch. He's actually gaining with the putter today. It looks like all putter. He's up to 3 under through 8. So I'm not sure if he hit 9 yet, but that's somebody that people are watching. Tom Kim, 3 under on the day, up to 2 under on the tournament. Who else, Hoop? Anybody else down there you can think of that we're watching along this cut line?
Yeah, Finau's making the push. Davis Riley, a guy I like for round 3. Obviously, he's 1 over today. So he's at 3 under on the tournament. He had decent amount of ownership on the main slate. A few guys like right above Steven Yeager. He's at 4 under. He's going to need to do something. Keegan, 4 under. We already talked about Spawn.
Yeager and Keegan were 2 for sure. I just saw the Keegan stuff. I know Keegan drained like a 60-footer or something today, and now he's not getting it done on the approach this time around. So we'll have to see there. I don't see Nick Hardy a little bit. He's actually sitting at 2 under, but he's 3 under on the day, gaining it all with the putter, but he's a guy to keep an eye on. So watch for him. And we'll come back to this because they'll get through more holes by the time we come around to the end. But we'll go up to the top. Let's talk about some of these guys that you might have interest in for tomorrow, Hoop. Obviously, we talked a little bit about the weather already, not seeing much. You mentioned it, that if there was something tomorrow, it would be like scattered showers, thunderstorms. You could see a horn come out. That could happen, but it looks like it would be later in the day, and it would end up being the leaders. So let's talk about those leaders, guys that we got up top right now that are already through the cut. We can start at 10 under. It looks like Rye and Aberg just got to 10 under, and they've got plenty of holes left to play. Sam Ryder not much behind them. But for the most part, the guys up there, Morikawa too, I should say, but for the most part, Hadwin up through Taylor Moore at the top. What's your thoughts on some of these guys up here?
Yeah, I mean, Aberg's a stud. I mean, I know he's still out on the course, and I expect him to move up. I think he might end up being right there when it's all said and done at the end of the day. The guy's just playing phenomenal golf. So he's one for sure. I mean, this course, we talked about it on the main. We talked about it yesterday. It's just a perfect course fit for him. I think he's got a bright future. So, regardless of where he finishes today, I'm going to have interest in him. Aaron Rye finished he's 3 under on the day, 10 under going into tomorrow. Another guy that seems
Rye still has holes left too. Rye's got 8 holes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, he's not finished yet. So yeah, he's a guy that could continue to move up. I am interested in him. The guys that already finished though, Adam Hadwin. I liked him on the main slate. He's been solid. I mean, you look at it; these are the guys you want that have been at least 3 under in each of the first 2 rounds. Like, they get the course, they know it's easy, they have their strategy, it's paying off. Interested in him. He's $8K for tomorrow. Sepp Straka is another guy that plays easy course as well, and he's hasn't had the best form as of late. But he's found it here. It's a good spot to find it. And that's kind of, someone in the chat's like, I can't imagine playing JT at 10K, but like, man, if someone's struggling, like, this is, to me, the sort of track you want them at. This is where they can get right. They can feel good about some shots. They're bigger margin for error at courses like this, so you can disguise some of your deficiencies along the way. So, a guy like Sepp Straka, easy courses. He's 8-3 for tomorrow. Interested in him. Your guy Adam Schenk, I mean, I think we just got to keep riding him a little bit. I mean, you've been on him for the main slate. Heavies in the core. He was in your core today for round 2. Just playing real solid. Another guy that found something here. Taylor Moore. If he is at the top of the leaderboard, who's ever at the top, unless it's Aberg. If Aberg's there, I'm still playing him. But if like Taylor Moore is at the top when it's all said and done, I will be fading him tomorrow. Dylan Wu, I don't want to play him either. I mean, just like we talked about the Albatross, another chip in today. Like, he's not playing as well as his score looks right now. So he's a guy I can easily fade tomorrow. And is that about it up here? Landry, is Landry done?
Landry's done. He lost. He's a guy that, again, this is where it's kind of funny, but usually on the main slate, someone will look at him, on Showdown Round 2, someone will look at him and say, after round 1, he lost almost 2 strokes on approach, gained 2 strokes with the putter. What happens today? He continues with the putter. His irons flip. He shoots a 9-under bogey-free round, takes advantage of all the par 4s, has a double streak, which you only get points for 1, but he still has the streak in there and just gains heavily across the board and shoots the round of the day. So you can take chances on going back to these guys anytime you want. He's a guy, you don't expect him to replicate that tomorrow, but just more of a note from round 1 to round 2, the irons can flip too, right? People always just look and say, oh, he didn't have his putter, he'll bring it back. Well, irons can come back around too, and that's what happened for Landry today. Anybody else up here that you want to discuss?
Your guy Cam Davis.
Yeah.
7 under another. I mean, your core was on fire today. I mean, Shank and Cam Davis together. Cam Davis, I think he found a bogey down the stretch too, or it would have been even better. But 9K going into tomorrow, and all these names up here. You look at it, the 2 that really stand out to me that have the most firepower would probably be Cam Davis and Aberg. So I mean, to me, those are probably the 2 that I'll be targeting most. These guys that are at 10K or above as it stands right now.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. The Davis one, I mean, he also had he had an eagle that he chipped in for, and then he also had a double bogey. So also when you're looking at his stats, everyone's like, oh, his approach is boosted by that. It also got canceled out because he lost the exact same amount he gained on hole 11 when he had the double bogey there on the par 3. So really, he still came out ahead on approach. He still came out with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 birdies and an eagle, a streak. All of that. So again, no problem going back. Will he be owned again? Yes. Someone said that today. The first thing in our Discord is, why is this guy owned 25% or something? Well, you found out, because that's why he got owned that much. The numbers yesterday were just as dialed for him. If you went back to yesterday, he gained 2 strokes on approach. He'd lost around the greens and he lost with the putter and still put up the same. Did he put up the same results? Oh no, 1 second. Let me go back to this. That was the right stats. But yesterday this is what it was. He'd left 3 of the par 5s out there. This is why I liked him, with 4 birdies still. And it was really just a couple bad holes. So that's, again, a guy that we went back to. Smalley was the guy that I talked about heavily on this show yesterday in round 1, and how he'd messed around and he had left, I think it was 3 of the par 5s or 2 of the par 5s out there. It was really only 2 bad holes that hurt him on his approach numbers. And otherwise everyone would have loved him because his approach numbers would have popped so heavy and his putter still would have been just as bad. Now you go back to this spot and look today, he throws up 6 birdies, an eagle, still leaves one of the par 5s out there. Like, just an incredible day for Smalley. And he was like 8 or 9, or maybe it was 10%, but he wasn't much as far as ownership was concerned. One other guy up here I wanted to talk about. I had him, just trying to go back. Seb Straka. Yeah, Straka was one for sure. Really solid on approach, and even had a pretty bad hole 14 for him. He lost over a stroke on approach and still ended up 2 strokes on the day. So definitely have interest in Seb Straka. Interest in my guy Cam Davis. The Landry piece I talked about. Let me go back to it here. Just one more guy I was trying to look up. Taylor Moore, you talked about. Putter again all today. I don't have interest in him.
No.
Justin Lower.
Do you say anything about Wu?
No, I'm not. I didn't see much in Wu that I liked. I was trying to find who the guy was that I wanted to talk about, but might have been we were looking at Aberg. Aberg, by the way, just so everyone's following along, we're going to keep it updated here. Aberg was in the fairway on the par 5, so he's pushing for a little bit more here. I think we just see where he's at now. No update yet on that shot, so we'll come back around to it just to see. The chat's talking about Tom Kim.
Yeah, battling for get made another birdie. He's 4 under on the day, sitting at 3 under now, so he needs 2 more down the stretch, it assumes, to make the cut. Him and Tony are both now at 3 under.
Yeah, so keep an eye on him as well. He's going to be someone, if Tom Kim gets through, I'll definitely have interest tomorrow, because he's going to sneak in if he gets in, and that's what you're going to want to see. So I can't remember who it was. I was looking at Landry. Davis I liked. Straka. Straka's mostly putter today. The stats are why we liked Straka from yesterday. Today, he went 6 under. It was a lot with the putter, but again, there was one really bad hole that hurt his numbers on approach. So most people say it was all putter, no approach. It was a lot of putter that he still did the job with, but it was pretty consistent. It wasn't just 1 or 2 holes or something. So, I mean, he just was making putts. There's nothing wrong with that. Hadwin left 2 of the par 5s out there, had 1 or 2 really bad holes that hurt his approach. So I wouldn't hate Hadwin. And then after that, there's not much else I see up here. We're gonna keep an eye on Aberg. Let's move on though, Hoop. Let's go to this next range. Some of these guys that are through. Your guy Malnati, Satoshi Kodaira came through today with the big round. Brendan Todd ended up 4 under bogey free. Our guy wins a lot in the Discord. Says this is a guy every week he comes in now with a play. That was his play. It wasn't amazing, but it was a 4 under bogey free. You're never going to complain about that. Harmon had a really good day on approach. Anybody here that you're seeing in this sort of 8 under to 9 under range that you like that's through the round?
Yeah, Malnati, we talked about him a little bit yesterday. Again, he's a guy that can play well at some of these easy tracks. Like, he's not going to compete at the long, tough courses, but a guy like him can definitely do some damage here. Brian Harmon, I don't have much interest in. I mean, it's just one of those situations for me where I didn't play him on the main. Didn't play him today, and I'm just not going to go to him at this price tag. I'll take my chances. Like, he is like 8.7K. I'd have to find like $300 more, especially if you're building just 1 or 2 lineups to get up to Cam Davis, like over him. There's just so much more upside for a guy like him. We shit on Troy Merritt, or I shit on Troy Merritt yesterday, and he followed up his 4 under with another 4 under. Maybe he found something. He is 6'6". The price has come up maybe like a little bit. If I made his first cut, I think in like 13 or 14 tries, which is just truly incredible. But all that to say, I just don't think I can really get there on him. Kodaira at 6'4", I don't have a ton of interest in. So for me, like, I definitely like Malnati the best out of these cheap guys. Sam Ryder, is he done? Sam Ryder is he's still playing. So Sam Ryder could potentially move up. Yeah, you got Morikawa in this range. He's probably going to move up as well. So yeah, I mean, for me, the guys that are already like cleared at like 4 under, it would be it would probably be, gosh, I guess my favorite in this range would be Malnati for cheap. Yeah, it's kind of where I'm at. But guys that are in this range right now are going to move up. I mean, Morikawa probably moves up. Fowler probably moves up. He continues to play phenomenally well. So we'll really have to see. But yeah, some of these guys that are sitting 8, 9 under right now are going to be in that next tier here, probably within a few holes.
Yeah, we got to see. Brian, I know, Brian, we talked about this earlier. It's actually a good one said earlier. All these names are such scrubs, Malnati, Todd, etc. Yeah. He says TV ratings going to be a dumpster fire. Maybe. Remember, you have to remember 2 things. 1, Canada Day weekend. If we can get Taylor Pendrith back into the mix, had his chance here last year. Right now, he is 3 under through 6 to get to 8 under on the tournament, playing pretty well. Maybe he gets into the mix. And then there's one guy that moves the needle more than anybody right now, for the most part, and it's been the Ricky Fowler train. So if Ricky finds his way back through, he is also 3 under through 8, bogey free, 8 under on the tournament, sitting T14. With plenty of room. By the end of the day, you could see a board up here. And I'm not trying to sell this thing. I get no benefit if the ratings are good or bad. I'm just saying in general, if I'm going to be excited as a golf fan, we've got Hadwin up there, Pendrith. Those are more, you'd still call them scrubs, sure. But then if you get Morikawa, Aberg, and Fowler, that's kind of what we want to see out of this event. That's what we'd be looking at. There is still a bunch of scrubs up there, but I definitely agree. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying, they can sell Fowler. They can sell Ricky up there, but as much as we like Aberg, like, they're not selling Aberg on TV. Like, Aberg's
not yet.
Yeah, eventually, yes. I think the kid's going to be a stud. But in terms of like watching golf this weekend, the best thing for them is Ricky Fowler being up there, like, by far. That's their best chance.
He's right about this one though. He says JT Hideki, Finau, etc. Yeah. Sure, that hurts them. But then, like our guy Jason says, Bader, he says, Kawa, Homa, Fowler. These guys are all good. Like, Fowler and Kawa are already finding their way into the mix with half the course to play. I think they're going to be fine. Aberg is awesome for us as fans, I'm saying, and that's where if I've got Pendrith and Hadwin up there as a Canadian golf fan, I'm excited to see that too as an added bonus. And it is Canada Day weekend. We just had Nick Taylor win the RBC Canadian Open, and I know, Hoop, yourself, I mean, you got the birthday party, but I'm sure many Americans are going to be celebrating July 4th early
tomorrow
and try and run it as many days as you can, right? You get to party Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, extend the party. So we'll see, but this could turn out okay up at the top.
What, just a side question, like for Canada Day, is it basically like Independence Day for, here? Is that how it correlates or?
Yeah, it's same thing.
Yeah,
it's Canada Day is like, a day of patriotism. You go out, you celebrate your country. People are rocking the flags. They're putting red and white face paint on. The t-shirts are done. Big events at people's houses, parties, drinks, food, all that stuff. Just having a day, man. Get a little drunk, ole ole, sing a little "O Canada," get all fired up. People are having a good time on Canada Day for sure. And on a Saturday, it should be a good one this year.
Yeah, nice. Fireworks or no?
Oh yeah.
It is fireworks too. Okay. Yeah.
I try and stay clear of those, man. Watch too many of these episodes on, mistakes that were made or incidents that are happening with fireworks. So I'm not trying to get too involved. I'm not lighting the cig when it comes to those things. I can tell you that much. Grayson Sig in the field. We can see where he's at, actually. That's a good segue. But he got the 4 under. So he's one of those guys cheering for the 4 under cut line. And just a quick update on that. It's dropped. We're up to almost 85% to get to 5 under right now. I wanted to go back and see that Aberg shot.
Mr. Aberg, he made the birdie.
It was a birdie?
Yeah, you hit his second shot went into the rough, is like 27 feet from the pin, and then he nailed it.
Okay.
Or he must have got it close, so.
Still looking good, man. This guy's coming through. Rye is at 10 under. Who else do we got that's still out there? Cow is up to 9 under, so what, did he just make a birdie as well?
I think a little bit ago. So yeah.
Oh yeah, on hole 8 he did. I missed that one, so just seeing it there. Okay. All right, going back to
Pendrith. I mean, Pendrith is now 4 under, 9 under on the day, and he's just put 330 down the fairway on the par 5. So
gonna be drunk for the next 72 hours.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will be, honestly, because you got the weekend, a lot of 4th of July festivities, Canada Day festivities, and then the 4th is actually on Tuesday. So I'm assuming a lot of people on Monday and Tuesday off work, and they're going to get the party going. There's no doubt.
Oh yeah, guy we forgot. And our guy Jason just coming with all the good stuff. Doug Gim better. That's the guy we forgot to mention. He started out, I was told he won the tournament actually, and Jason is in our Discord. He was there witnessing it as well. Doug Gim, after 5 holes, was declared the winner. And now Doug Gim is on the cut line of 5 under. Well, the 85% likely to be cut line, losing almost 3 strokes with the putter. So we'll have to see how that goes.
It's rapidly moving to 5 under. Like, it's definitely going to be 5 under. I mean, if you just look at the leaderboard now, it's up to T57. I mean, probably within an hour, we're going to be looking at T65.
I just don't see it getting any harder yet, and we thought that could be the case, and it just wasn't. So our guy Title, Saturday to Tuesday, Bender indeed. Why not just start it on Friday night, Title? Just get it going. And then
I'm sure he will be. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. Yeah, Title has some festivities this weekend, so I'm sure he's getting into it tonight.
Also, I like the avatar that he's got the switch there. If you guys want that, free page on the site, shipitnation.com. Go up in the top right corner. There's 3 dots. Click logos. There's 4 options that you can pick from there. I like this one. I like a little marketing angle with the hashtag. I don't mind it. So shout out Title. We put the link up earlier if you guys want to check it out. Obviously, we're on the Mail Media Network. If you're not subscribed already, do so. But Dogger Pass, my favorite, one of the best MMA shows out there that I've always watched and followed. And why I love it so much is because it's the same combo. You get Paul and you get Cody every single week, and they're incredible at what they do. And that's why everybody loves it. We're trying to create the same thing. Title and Marley, 2 guys that have been in the MMA streets for a very long time. They actually play DFS, so you can find them in the streets every single week at qualifiers, playing in the big events, all those things. They're applying all their knowledge to that. Marley puts a bit of a betting spin on it as well. They've got all their content over on the site at shipitnation.com. We're still just $59 a month. I know it says $69, $6.99. It could go up to, you can get it as low as $49 a month if you get the annual and lock that in. And in the future, I think anybody that has that is going to be very satisfied that they bought that package, because it locks you in at $49 a month. It only comes out once a year, and it gets everything included. I think people have forgot. Another thing you can see while you're on the site for free, click the NFL dropdown. We're still missing like 4 or 5 more menus because we're not going to give it all away right now and what's to come. But we've already started with just MLB PGA. We've added MMA with 2 legit dudes that are crushing it year in, year out, that are on the site doing it. We've added that Discord channel. We've got a Discord full of people in there talking a lot of game theory, strategy, the actual stuff you want to know about, not just this guy versus that guy. So check it out, shipitnation.com, get signed up. People ask me, there's no promo code coming. If anything, the price would go up to the $69.69. We've already let it linger where we said it was going to that much earlier. So lock in, get the price now before NFL, NBA, and NHL come around with projections, tools, all the content you'd know and expect for all of that stuff as well. So our guy Antonio, we'll get back to it here. Justice for Hoops Kid. JT missed the cut. Pack it in, pal. That's the kicker. The
big mistake. You don't fuck with the kids, man. I mean, that's what it comes down to. You do not mess with the kids, and the kids go undefeated in these situations. And JT got hit with a dose of reality. Quick. We're not gonna go into the full details. We talked about on the show yesterday, but son goes over to the practice screen. Bones was there right in front of him. Bones comes over, takes a picture, sets down JT's bag. My son, 9 years old, could have reached out and grabbed any club out of the bag he wanted. It was that close. 5 minutes later, JT walks over, and at that point, there were more kids in the area. And with my son, JT, can I get an autograph? Can I get a ball? Didn't even wave. Didn't even look up and wave. Just digging into his little fanny pack thing that he had, and just kind of a dick. And what do you know? He goes out and embarrasses himself. I mean, his performance this week was an embarrassment. So long story short, you don't fuck with the kids.
Yeah. On this course, seems very tough.
Yes.
These things to happen. But in this range, just going back to it, we can get back on track. Like I said, I don't mind Pendrith. He continues to play well. One guy we forgot to mention, I guess I forgot to add on the point, was Rye. This was a point we made earlier in the week. We rehashed it on the show last night. Was, again, tough to imagine him getting back up to here, because I always love his talent. I play Rye almost every week, almost like my Sung J M problem. We'll get to him. But the point being with Rye, people make fun of him for all the stuff, the iron covers, the two gloves, all this. Yes, probably worthy of being made fun of. But when he's on, he's on. And we got a tournament coming up in a couple weeks, actually, the Scottish Open, that he's won before. Very strong field, very tough event to win at. It's usually, will he make the short putts? We said, we'll find out. We'll take the chance and play him. You have to know there's risk involved. But when he does come through it, when he gets through, he often shines over the weekend. Yeah. So let's see how he finishes this round. He's through 12, 3 under on the day, 10 under on the tournament. If he gets through, makes this cut, and gets into the weekend, going to be interested in him tomorrow, especially if he falls down the board a little bit into that 8-9 under range, even if he goes up to 11-12 and other guys are ahead of him. I kind of like him that way, and I'm not sure how many will go back to him. Depends on how his last few holes go, but he's interesting. The Cows, the Fowlers, they'll all be popular because you got to find somewhere to spend the money. I'll continue to play Ryan Palmer. He was the guy I mentioned yesterday that I liked. You go right back to him today. He had all 4 of the par 5s he took care of, gained on approach very evenly across the board, literally almost every hole, lost almost half a stroke with the putter, still shot a 5 under, and 1 bogey only. So he could have had a bogey free, had a chance there at some streaks, didn't make those. So just to note, a couple chances at a streak there. Ben Griffin played really well again. He's through. Max Homa will be a popular option up top. Regardless of the stats today, he left one of the par 5s out there, but made eagle on another. So I'm sure people will just go back to him for the price, the stud value, and the scoring. And then the Carson Young play. The chat just got me good. My guy could be Travis. Mm-hmm. Couldn't believe. First off, he says this: I can't believe he'd be arrogant enough to blow off kids. True, probably going through some stuff mentally, but then says, I'm surprised they even want his autograph. He's really fell off.
Well, when you're at the Rocket Mortgage, you can't be picky, right? As a kid, because there's these kids, they only know the top end guys. So they're all excited when they see the top end guys, So they're not in tune with all the random guys that are just popping onto tour. So in their defense, it's only a few options, only a few guys I get excited about. I can remember 3 years ago, or maybe 2 years ago, the year I played the Pro-Am, the biggest names that year were Ricky and Phil. And Phil hadn't been good in forever, but everyone, you would have thought Phil was, playing Tiger Woods-esque golf from, 10 years ago, but it's just the name, you just don't have the options at the Rocket Mortgage. So either way, long story short, screw JT. He's on.
And Brian, again, our guy knows. He said, want to hear karma? Followed Wyndham Clark at the Wells Fargo. We know that ended up the win before the major win was at the Wells Fargo. Broke through there. He interacted with my girls, and he's got a picture of him and his girl, one of his girls at least. He says girls plural here, and says gave one of them a ball at the end of his round. One of them, so that describes the plural. And then he goes, by the way, it was round 2. No one was interested in his group, of course, at that point. And then the guy goes on to ship the tournament. So love to hear stories like that. Yeah.
It goes a long way. I believe in that stuff, honestly.
Yeah, and there's guys that, again, it happens both ways. We're making fun of JT because the obvious here, and we made fun of Denny McCarthy for the previous story, Hoop had, but like there's guys that play horribly and still go out and do this because it's just who they are. And they honestly are so happy and so passionate about the game and growing it, and they're just so grateful that that's what they get to do every day and go out and do it. And I think that's the best way to be, man. Like if you're doing something you love, yeah, there's a lot of money involved. Yeah, there's high stakes, all this stuff, but the kids are literally there. You're like a hero to them to see you out there. So, I mean, that's just how I've always been. I think it's important that you take care of everybody, interact with everybody who wants to interact with you, and try and just be there for them. And I think that's the golfers that do that are the ones that stand out and those stories live on. So keep going here, Hoop. Let's go down to 7. I talked about Homa. Ryan Moore is a guy that you could play. He just really didn't have it with the putter. What about your guy, Chris Kirk, who's still out there right now? Yeah. But I mentioned Alex Smalley, Svensson, our Canadian boy. He's another Canadian in the mix, by the way, that he could get hot on a Saturday. I don't hate him. Took care of all the par 5s and still shot a 5-under round on the day. What about this 6-under, 7-under range? Who are some of the guys you see here?
Yeah, this is a range where I want to be. And I think for round, like on moving day for round 3, I think this is a solid range to typically attack these guys that are probably going to be going out a little bit early. Yeah, Max Homa is the name here. He's been playing pretty well. I mean, he's not at the top of the leaderboard, but he's 7 under. If Ricky gets to the top, which I'm sure he will, if Morikawa gets up there, which it looks like he's going to, has to keep Homa's ownership in check a little bit. So he's a guy I'm going to be really focused in on tomorrow. Chris Kirk, at 8.1K, I think is a totally fine play. I mean, he's been good this event, struggling kind of coming in. But again, this is a good spot to kind of find yourself. Justin Suh as well. Didn't really do anything today. I think he bounces back in a big way tomorrow. Carson Young, I'll continue to play at 7.3. I'm good with your Ryan Moore call at 6.4. Sungjae, I mean, I'll go down into the 6s as well. Like Sungjae at 9.2. Smalley, like you talked about, at 8.4. Callum Tarrant making a little bit of a run. I think he just recently found another birdie. So he's up to 7 under. A guy I liked on the main slate. I mean, I think I only played 3 guys in the 6K range on the main slate. It was him, Sig, and someone else. So, I mean, that worked out well. I mean, the rest of my lineups didn't because of Hideki and JT, but I'll continue to play Taram. Chesson Hadley, Svensson, like you talked about, I think all solid plays. Then we got to see with some of these guys, like, do they get in? Do they not get in? Where are we at with Jaeger? Because Jaeger's sitting at 5 under right now. Like if he gets through, I think a great play. 8.8K. I'm hoping he just kind of sneaks through, to be honest with you. He'd be close to 9K. Not many people will be on him tomorrow. He can make a ton of birdies, and I think he's a guy that would move up the leaderboard over the weekend. Doug Gim, got to see where he finishes. It hasn't been great today, and like you said, everyone was saying he won the whole thing yesterday after the first 5 holes, but 7.5K if he finishes in this 5 under range, I'd have interest in him as well.
You have pricing up for tomorrow? What is Jaeger?
Yeah.
8,800.
Yeah, 8,800. No one's going to play him. If he just gets in, if he just makes the cut, 8,800, he'll be a low-owned guy that can just he can make so many birdies.
Yeah, I'm in. That's my favorite. I got too many guys now. I'm starting to pile up my list of guys, but like this week you could almost build the list of those guys, and it just sucked because JT is, I think, the only one that didn't make it through on that list, unless Jaeger doesn't get through. But it was like Jaeger, Sungjae, Rye, and then whoever. My guy Norlander, by the way. I told everyone this week multiple times I had the gut feel on Norlander. He's at 5 under. He made it through. So
great call.
Love that one. He's done. Yeah.
He's done. Yeah. 4 under today. Yeah. That's a good call.
And this guy, man, Aberg is to 14 feet again I think it's for a streak, so right?
Good,
birdie.
He's so good.
Man, he's just dialed in right now, as Antonio was saying there. Jay Steele, our boy. What's up, Jay Steele? He says, I'd be like, aren't you Hoop 2410? You're my hero. They should know the hoopster by now.
Well, I mean, in
his hometown.
When you play in the Pro-Am, so they think you're like a professional golfer at the Pro-Am because people come out and watch it. So I got a little bit of that. I didn't get the Are You Hoop 2410, but people thought I was like a professional golfer. Much better fantasy player than golfer, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I would agree probably. We mushed our guy Aberg a little bit too. He missed that birdie putt, so he's going to tap in here. Right. For a par, and so he'll move on to the next. That is hole. What is he on? 8. He's going to 9 now. So keep an eye. Again, we'll just keep watching him as we go throughout. Let's do a quick check-in here on some of these guys. I don't know if you got it up on your side, but I'll pull it. We wanted to look up. Benny Ann is still even through 11. Spawn is now 5 under through 11, so he's sitting right on the cut line. Who's the other guys we said? Finau. What did Finau get to? 3 under through 9.
Finau's at 3. Tom Kim's still at. They must be playing together.
Tom's 3 under through 10. And there was one more guy specifically we were watching. Gim is 5 under through 12.
Another guy I need that's creeping up now is our guy Norman. So he just made a birdie. We haven't talked about him yet. He just made a birdie. He's 3 under, and he has 2 par 5s left. So I need Norman.
Yeah, I need him too. Vincent double R Norman. We need the Eagler, the double R Eagler to come through with an eagle or 2. That'd be nice. The double would be even better, but we'll take 1. I like your Taryn call that you just had in this range. He's the guy I like for today. Still going out there. Who was the 2 guys? Hodges and Whaley today. Whaley, so he gets through. He had a horrible front 9. He shot 1 over with no birdies, and then on the back 9 makes 4 birdies bogey free. So he's a little bit interesting.
Hodges is out. Riley made another birdie, so he's kind of coming back a little bit for us. He's sitting at 4 under. A guy that I definitely need.
Yeah, Hodges was the guy in Showdown. He went 5. He had 4 under with 5 birdies on the front, and then did like nothing on the back 9. Ended up missing the cut. Davis Riley is now back to even.
Yeah,
4 under on the tournament still, but man, this is the thing too. Like, it's such a horrible play. He only gained it with the putter in round 1. He still got 3 birdies through 9 holes here, and then now gets to go play the last 9. So he could definitely find something here and score well in Showdown. It depends on the guys in the range and stuff, but for now, not the worst. Anybody else in here? I'm just trying to see. Sung Jae for sure. Liked him today. I don't think as many will go back to him tomorrow. He's the most popular. Here's one thing I like about Sung Jae, and just make sure I'm on the right day here. Round 2, lost almost 2 strokes around the green. Good news. If he's not messing up tomorrow, I won't care about his around the green because I'll care about his putter and his, if he's in on the greens, that's what you're playing him for, to hope for those opportunities. So leaving one of the par 5s out there, still making 4 birdies. His irons weren't that bad besides 1, 2, 2.5 holes where it was pretty bad. He still gained over a stroke on approach. So really lost almost half stroke with the putter, 2, 3, 4 really bad holes with the putter. So that's something we could find. I liked Smalley yesterday. I think going into today, I think you can go back to him. Alex Noren was the guy that we mentioned. We'll see. He's through 12 at 6 under, so I have to see him make it through. But if he sneaks in, I don't mind him. And then anybody else here, my guy Norlander, I'll continue to play him. Now that he made the weekend, I'm pretty pumped. He had 4 under bogey free, left 2 of the par 5s out there, gained pretty solid across the board on approach, so I wouldn't hate going back to him. And then Spawn is the guy I'll definitely like if he gets through. He's one of the guys here in this range for me. Going to the cut line now, or the current, what looks like 89% now we're up to, 87, just dropped back down. But like you said, looks pretty popular here that it's going to be the 5 under. Who are these guys that are on the cut line that are through already for you, Hoop? Is there anybody that was already through, like Stallings, Stallings didn't make it. He's 4 under. Who's the guy I was just looking at then? Norlander I talked about. Higgs, Wallace, Reevy.
Chaz Reevy. I think Reevy's a guy that I'd have interest in. I mean, Matt Wallace, what's his price? He's 6.8K. I think he'd be a fine punt play for tomorrow. A guy, Harry Higgs, made it through. Higgs has to be cheap, 6.6. Like, these are if I'm playing cheap guys, these are the ones I want, the ones that just got through. They're going to play early tomorrow, and they just got through. Those are the ones that I'm most interested in. Chesson, we talked about Chesson. He's at 6 under, 7K. So like, those are the guys, the cheap guys that I kind of want to be on going into tomorrow. The ones that go off early and just kind of made it through.
Yeah, and our guy Jason got us covered. Gim up to 6 under, just dropped just under 8-footer to get to 6 under. So nice. He's got what has he got to play? Has he played the other side already? I think he has, right? So he's just got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes to go, it looks like. So good job for Gim. Could be Travis. Is there anything you don't like about Sung Jae is the better question?
That he sucked the last 3 weeks.
That hurt me for sure. But I give him a pass. But I don't like that he hasn't won as much as I think he should have, as well as a major. I'd like to see him get a major. I like Sung Jae. So let's get him a major championship. He was obviously awesome when it was the web.com tour back in the day. A lot of this stems from that. A lot of pros watch him and guys that know the game just said how nice his swing is. Again, you're going to have ups and downs, but before this little bad run, he was playing just fine. He was crushing. He literally won. It's the Korea tournament, the win I don't care about, but it was before that. It was all the top 10s and top 20s, and then got the win in Korea, came back from it. And it must have been the travel or whatever it might be. just did not come through for those few weeks there. But overall, I'll give him a pass. A lot of this talk here, Hoop, I guess will just be guys, we can round it out with this. We'll get the last, 5-10 minutes on this. The guys that if they get through, because there's a lot, right? Like Robbie Shelton, he's a guy that I would like if he got through, would be one for me. Who else is still out there playing? I just don't see it getting to 4. So I can only really look at guys that are through 4, that are 4 under right now and still have holes to play. There, some of them have half the round to still go here. So going a little bit earlier today, obviously, but anybody else in here that you'd have interest in down below? Keegan, if he just squeezes through, would be a guy I like. Your guy, Davis Riley, if he just squeezes through, I'd be okay with.
There's some guys like Tom Kim. Well, Tom Kim actually just made a bogey, so he's come down a little bit. He's at 2 under, so he's got to make a push here. Like Nick Hardy, if he were to get through, he's at 2 under right now. I'd have interest in him for tomorrow. Definitely Tony Finau. You talked about Shelton. I think he would be fine. Bramlett's another guy. He's at 3 under right now. If he gets through, let me pull up his price tag, because
what's he at right now?
7,600. He is 3 under, so he just needs 2 more along the way. Definitely Norman. I mean, if Norman's gets through,
at 3 under now, so Norman's right there.
Yeah, if he gets through, I definitely am interested. 7.2K for him. Those are kind of the guys. And then some of these 4 under guys, those are the guys that are like 3 under. Some of these 4 under guys. Davis Riley, I would like if he did make his way through the cut line. What is Sungjae No, or however you pronounce his name?
Sung-Yul No.
Not Sungjae, Sung-Yul. Yeah, there you go.
Sung-Yul No is the coin
6K
on him.
flat. That would be our guy right there. 6K flat. I would play him tomorrow if he just got through at 5 under. 6K. I mean, full on punt. Keegan, like you talked about, Shelton. Those are kind of the guys that I'd be looking at that are around that cut line.
I'd look at Nick Hardy and Sam Stevens. I would add to that. They're actually at 2 under. So they got work to do, but they got the holes left. Stevens is through 13. Hardy is only through 11. So he's definitely got time. Bez, Nikolai Højgaard, these guys are guys that I think can go low if they could somehow find their way through. Real quick, Antonio, we just talked about, but it's almost 90% now, and it looks like it's definitely going to be that. And then Mama Rocks, this is for sure what I'm talking about. In our Discord, much different than the other Discords out there, because, people made fun of me for it, but I'm not the guy that likes to sit there and answer this guy versus that guy questions. I want to talk about why that's even a question in the first place. But we definitely talk about stuff going on with these other sites, the stat sites, ways to use them. There's great tools around the industry, whether you're using Fantasy National, Rick Rungood, Data Golf. There's we support all these things. It's not us versus the world when it comes to that stuff. That's what we're all about. We learn from these other great tools. We try and bring you great tools, projections, content as well, the support system with the community, but we're all about bringing that stuff in and having conversations around it and trying else. I remember our guy Jason actually here, when he first joined, was talking to us about Fantasy Now. He asked, very polite, said, can I talk about Fantasy National versus Rick Rungood here? Of course. I'm friends with both those guys. All those guys, I should say, because there's more than that are involved with those companies, but just saying, of course, that's what it's all about, supporting others, comparing the differences, and then seeing what we all like, and then talking about it in there. Obviously, we're not sharing their stuff from behind the paywall. That's not what we're going to be doing, but talking about how we're using it and how we're able to use that stuff to apply it towards DFS and the slate at hand is why I say the membership is worth its weight in gold when you think about how much cheaper it is than the rest of the industry. And then when you remember, oh shit, it actually includes 6 major sports. Title said earlier for MMA, and he's biased because that's his sport, but I'll definitely say it for golf. Like our guy, Sir John Daly, it's not going to be everyone that gets this. You're playing for your big hit, but he won $5,700 yesterday, and that's in Showdown. There's 44 slates of golf, and then there's Showdown for all of those. That alone, with some of the stuff people would say would be worth it, but it's not a membership where you have to worry about, now NFL's over, I don't need this anymore. You're not even paying that much for it, and you're locked in, and you get all those other sports as well. So I definitely think that's the way. And you talk about trying to up my game in MMA, in PGA, MLB, NFL. That's the whole point, right? Trying to get better at DFS. SHIPIT Nation uses innovation to support with education to try and give you inspiration, motivation. You've got the dedication coming from us. All of those Asians put together are what it's all about. Hoop, anything to add on that before we get out of here, my friend?
No, I think you absolutely nailed it. If we're using the analogy that DFS is a puzzle, we want to be as many pieces to that puzzle as possible, but we understand that we're not maybe every single piece. So that's where you can, come in and talk about some of these other things and other places to go. Totally fine with that. But we're very confident in the product that we're putting out there. And again, the one thing I always say, we're looking to add on and improve in every way possible. And we're doing that every day.
Yeah, and we do it typically with the product itself. That's what I think the members love the most. It's not always about bringing on the next big name or who's going to have all these screenshots that you see up top in these tournaments that are now going to rock our logo. It's not what it's about over here. Like, again, we're always trying to get better with the product. Can we get you the owner? Like for right now, MMA ownership projections just launched this week in the Discord. We're not putting them live yet because we're still testing a few things, some stuff, and want to try and pair them with the MMA fighter projections. Again, that's not for everyone, but that's why we have the support of Title, Marley, all the rest of us. And then the Discord itself is loaded with sharp members and people that play a lot of money also. And then you're tying that together with the actual content on the site, where if you don't have a lot of time, our slogan of less is more, and it's fine. People like to make fun of it, but the truth is not very many people play DFS full time or dedicated, and they're passionate about it like Hoop and I are, where we're spending hours upon hours every week and then trying to bring it front facing to help the public out at a much cheaper price than most of these sites that are out there, where we're including all the stuff that you need. Our slogan, everything you need to have success with DFS. We want you to be able to get off work, put together an MMA lineup that you feel is competitive using Marley's fighter rankings, cross-referencing it with Title's slate plan and other stuff that goes with it, tier rankings, whatever it might be, and say, I can compete tonight, but oh yeah, it's Canada Day weekend, or I'm celebrating July 4th weekend early here. Like Title said, it's a bender that you can put in the lineups and then go enjoy your friends, family, the drinks, the foods, the charcuterie trays, the wings, the smoked meats, whatever it might be that you're into. That gives you time to go and do that. So I got nothing else here, Hoop. I was going to do a quick roundabout on the Fantasy Golf World Championship just at the end, just to see. But one of the most interesting things about that is it was so heavy, like with the guys that missed the cut already. So just go to the bottom and see maybe some guys that are lower scoring. Not going to call them out. I just want to see some guys in their ownership. So Hideki was 41%. JT only 10%, but Hideki almost 40%. That's a little bit surprising. Eckroat 34%. And then I don't know the combinations, but there's a lot of like Decky, Sungjae, Eckroats that I'm seeing. Sungjae getting through, mind you, but just to say Benny Ann is someone they're really sweating, and he's through 12 now and only even on the tournament. It's going to be an uphill battle for him. He's almost 29%. So just trying to look through it. Any thoughts on that? Just some of those guys, like you would have played it this way, right? I think if you're putting, or you could talk about this now because the slate's locked. What was like your main lineup on the week, good, bad, or ugly? No, again, it's not just about the result. Like, what were you putting in cash game?
My main was Hideki, and it had Eckroat, but it did have Aberg. Aberg was the guy that I ended up playing on my main team. Fowler on my main team. Carson Young on my main team. So it's going to be like 4 out of 6, and the 4 that got through are looking pretty solid. So, and
I'm glad you brought it up. That's what I was saying. Again, for this format, for those that don't know, the round 1 is 300 people won a ticket. Top 150 will move on. It's a pretty cool setup. From the 150, they'll play again at the John Deere next week. So it's like the 2 craziest birdie fests in the world. I know some people aren't too happy about that, but again, what ends up happening is next week at the John Deere, the top 40. So it's no longer like a cash game style. It's like a little bit more aggressive. 40 out of 150 will move on and play live the week of the end of July, I guess it is, for the 3M Open. So they'll be in Minneapolis playing in a live final there. They'll get tickets. I'm sure they'll rent out a hole on the course with AC and everything going with it. You guys have a great time, those that make it. But just looking at the board, that lineup, like you said, Hoop, I think a lot of those lineups are going to be sweating big time this week, because 4 of 6, 3 of 6 can still get through. If you've got a Taylor Moore, for example, who's only 7% owned, if he ends up going on to win, or I'll try and find one with Aberg 14%, a little bit sharper field here. But again, that'll still sneak you through, and you'll have some lineups that have him and Hodges or him and Hideki. Anything else for you to add on to that?
No, I mean, the format in that thing, it was basically like a double up, right? You needed to get through. Yeah. So, I mean, it's you play it like a cash game, and that's what you should have done.
Yeah. Peter Gibbons last year, just look him up quickly. He had the max 15 entries into it last week, and he ended up getting all 15 through, which was insane. I think he ended up coming second at the event for 500,000, if I recall correctly. He was right up there. So, of note here, he got 5 teams in this year. The team at the back end that's looking like it's not going to make it had a Luke List WD at 5%. He withdrew this morning after a +2 first round. It had Hideki on it already, so that one was tough. He didn't run the same teams, though, or anything. He ran pretty close optimals off of those. Had a lot of Ricky Sungjae lineups, actually, Ricky Hideki lineups. So really liked Ricky this week. Was 4 out of 5 Ricky, and it looks like he could get a couple through, if not more. So just seeing some of the same guys up there. My boy Shanks a lot. Really nice guy. Ostimo is in the mix. I met Mr. Panther at the NFL Live Final last year in New Orleans. He had a pretty good showing there as well. So showing off his stuff in all sports. Vasa, who won the Fantasy Football World Championship 2 years ago, is up in the mix there. So just a coach, S111, really sharp player. He's up there. BGRE Seth, this guy, I think his name's Brandon, really sharp. Our guy Club Cam Cole, he's up in the mix. So we'll see how this thing shakes out. My buddy Broflex is up there. Again, want to see a lot of these guys go for us. We're monitoring our guys. Haggy B, he's in 126th and 137th. No Hideki, no Tony, no Eckroat. Tony on the second lineup. So on the first lineup, definitely looking really good. The second one just looking just as good. To be honest, our boy Todd, he's got 3 entries in it. So he's right on the cut line with 182, and then 2 that are just behind. One has Benny Ann, who he's sweating, and then the other one has Norman, who he's sweating, but he already lost Eckroat. So we'll see. He could still get in. K Craps, another guy. He ended up getting 4 lineups through. He's got 1 in 86th, 1 in 152nd, and then a couple in the 200s. So a lot of guys. I'm sure I missed some. There's others. Shout out to everybody who's in this tournament this week. It's a pretty fun one. That's going to do it for this week, though, Hoop. We'll be back next week for round 2, round 3 at the John Deere Classic. I see on the way out another Gim birdie. So, got the Gim mojo, Aberg bogey, but Aberg's up there. So maybe if Aberg falls back a little, we can get him at a little lower ownership. I doubt it, but wishful thinking. Hoop, have a good concert tonight. Have a good birthday tomorrow. Happy early Canada Day. Happy early Independence Day, July 4th weekend to those celebrating it early. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. That's going to do it for this week, though, guys. For everyone out there, for Hoop, for myself, ToeTagginTambo, let's ship it.